I'm Daniel.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is In a Nutshell Podcast. Welcome.
What up? What up?
Episode 2
Woo!
of In a Nutshell Podcast. It's almost surreal that we still have a podcast. It's crazy.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's not like an episode 1 and done where it's like, we do one, we did it, and then never show up again.
It's crazy how it's funny because Nutshell Films came from us editing stupid edits of movies, and now we're actually making movies and making podcasts and actually doing a lot of good stuff for people and whatnot. But today is going to be a very filled episode of talking about movies.
We have a lot of stuff to cover, all the way from superheroes to look at her, she's wicked.
Did I hit that? I think I hit that.
I think you did.
Okay, but usual shout outs today. We love our man Podcast Show over here engineering the show today.
Woo-woo-woo.
Yes, sir. He's the man behind the magic here at Podcast Junkie Studios. He owns and produces all the shows here at Podcast Junkie Studios. He's amazing. Love Ben. And also shout out to Charisma Ryans, Dear Charisma on Instagram, and Lightspot Studios on Instagram. She also helps produce the show, comes up with our topics, etc., etc. All right. Anything else you would like to add for our intro today, or should we get straight into it today?
I think we should talk about some DC news. What do you think?
Oh, Jesus. Look, people say there's superhero fatigue, but I think now, especially coming up in 2027, between here and 2027, I think James Gunn and Matt Reeves will single-handedly get rid of superhero fatigue.
Yeah,
I think they'll get rid of superhero fatigue, which we got to talk about the first thing today, which is Matt Reeves' Batman Part 2.
Yeah.
Because he came out with a lot of crap this week, or last couple weeks. He came out with a lot of stuff, especially when it comes with like the rumors about who's going to be, the main, okay. So the main thing that has been going around is, will DCU, Superman, right? James Gunn's DCU, will it be a part of the Batman universe, Matt Reeves' Batman universe?
Yeah, I mean, that's just been like a really hot topic recently. And even Matt Reeves had come out saying that the Part 2 Batman, it's not gonna be a part of the DC. Actually, it's gonna be on like on what he said. It's gonna be a part of the Elseworlds, which is its own separate thing from the DCU. But that's not stopping the Batman from being a part of the DCU for Part 3. What do you think?
Yeah, see, this is the issue. So Zack Snyder, right, made the ultimate mistake, which all you Snyder fans might be mad at me, okay? But he made the ultimate mistake of making the second Superman movie Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
Right? So when people started talking about, will Matt Reeves' Batman universe now be a part of James Gunn? I didn't like that idea. Because not only, in my opinion, is Matt Reeves' universe too grounded, way too grounded for Superman, because Superman is super comic booky, and the Batman is extremely like realistic and grounded, especially when it comes to characters like the Riddler and the Penguin. Yeah, even Batman himself.
It's two completely different like genres, and I feel like them being combined into one just didn't work too well. Yeah, and it won't work. Yeah,
and then he came out and said that it's not going to be a part of James Gunn, which I'm happy with. I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that because that also gives, because James Gunn was going to come out with Batman and Brave and the Bold, and we didn't know how two Batmans will coexist until either one universe or at the end of the day, it would probably have to be separate universe. But what are your thoughts on that? What do you think? Maybe it would have been good if they would have been together? Well, we kind of agreed that it wouldn't have been good together. But do you think maybe it could have possibly happened, or do you think it couldn't have happened at all?
I don't think it could have happened at all. I feel like it's two separate things. And I feel like that's the issue with a lot of this stuff, is that they make all these different directors and all these different films, they make two separate versions of each thing. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, when you want them to all coexist together, they really don't.
And it's James Gunn right now is on super speed because he's already come out, with more movies. He came out Creature Commandos beginning and Peacemaker, Suicide Squad. And then once he got that now it's like Superman. Now we're on Peacemaker season 2, which by the way, I'm watching Peacemaker season 2. It's good, but I wish the episodes were longer than 35 minutes.
Really? Is that short?
Bro. And it's crazy because Penguin was amazing, right? The Penguin was amazing, but the episodes were like literal movies. They're like over an hour long each episode.
Oh, wow.
So you're able to cram in a lot of the story within there and be able to follow at a good pace. Peacemaker is just something happens, then something else happens, and then it's the end. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like the first 2 episodes were dragging, and then episode 3 was really good, but then episode 4 was and then episode 5 was just, come on, I need more. But I think James Gunn is going to put a lot into the last episodes 6, 7, and 8. But I think it's a good decision that that Robert Pattinson's Batman is not. It's just too grounded, especially with the Penguin. Like they were cussed. That was a rated R thing, and Superman is not that kind of movie.
Yeah, it's two completely opposite genres, two completely opposite films, to the point where if they try and work together, it's going to change both films substantially, and that's what's going to make the audience mad.
Yeah, well, thank God. In my opinion, I'm glad they're not doing it.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Penguin won a lot of Emmys, as it should. The Penguin won a lot of Emmys, as it should, especially Colin Farrell. Colin Farrell completely was underneath the makeup of the Penguin. Like it's almost freaky at the fact that when you watch the Penguin, like the Penguin show, or even the Penguin and the Batman, the makeup is so good, right? To the point where you believe that that's an actual person, but it's not. It's an actor under the makeup. But Matt Reeves said in an interview at the Emmys, the Emmys, that the Batman Part 2 will have a new villain that has never been done in any movie before, which eliminates so many options out there.
Oh, so many options. And I feel like that's what we need as well. Someone new.
I agree.
It's just a big refresh. That's what we love.
I agree. Look, people are kind of mad that they're like, oh, what about the Joker? What about... Okay, look, I understand that, yeah, the Joker is a great character and whatnot, but...
There's been so much stuff about the Joker, though.
There's been Jack Nicholson's Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, which, by the way, those two Jokers are good. Heath Ledger's is...
Oh, yeah, they're amazing.
But Jared Leto's Joker, in my opinion, was absolutely terrible. He had no eyebrows, and he painted... he did, and he had his smile on his hand, like... You know, where actually between Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger, they actually acted out the character really well. But it gets rid of a lot of people. Not Penguin, obviously, because Penguin is already in the universe. It gets rid of a lot of people like Scarecrow, which actually I don't know if you knew this, but they tease Scarecrow in the Penguin. In the Penguin, they actually show a wide shot of Sophia Falcone, a wide two shot of the Sophia Falcone talking to Rush, and you see the Scarecrow mask and the Scarecrow hand sitting on top of his desk.
Interesting.
It's a little touch, but they're not going to have him in there because he announced also that Sophia Falcone is not going to be.
Yeah.
Which is I guess it kind of makes sense because at the end of the show, Penguin put her back in Arkham, and Catwoman, who is her half sister, said that, we have a lot in common because, our father was Carmine Falcone, but whatever. But it eliminates a lot of options. It eliminates one option that I'm very disappointed.
What do you think?
It was Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze in Matt Reeves' universe, I think would have been so bad-ass. And people are like, oh, it's too fantastical. I don't think so. I think you could have made a man who used like liquid nitrogen or like dry ice or something crazy to where he puts that in the system of Gotham. Because remember, now in the Batman Part 2, where the Penguin ended off, it's winter. It's winter now, so it's cold. So that would have been so cool to have Penguin, cold Penguin. Yeah. Even though it's realistic, there's still symbolism there. And Mr. Freeze. But they could have done Mr. Freeze with like liquid nitrogen. Maybe he nukes liquid nitrogen all over Gotham. Yeah. And he has like these guns. He doesn't have to have the mask or something. We can have like, these guns, and his skin is turning all frostbit. They could have done something
something so cool with it.
They could have done something so cool with it. But they didn't. But that leaves with
one more option.
Not one more option. There's multiple.
Oh, yeah. But what do you think is going to be the main villain? Because they said that it's not going to be... They also said that it's going to be also a part of his past as well.
It's going to be Hush.
Hush?
It's going to be Hush because Hush was teased. Hush was teased. You'll see they have some inserts where the Riddler is talking, and they'll show Hush right across the pictures and whatnot. I also think it could possibly be the Court of Owls. And the Court of Owls, I say, because there is a shot in, I think, the second to last or last episode of The Penguin where he is in the court and he's going to speak to Councilman Haiti. And when he's in the court, all the curtains are in the shape of an owl. So the Court of Owls is somewhere in there. But I don't think it's going to be. It's going to be Hush. Because Hush is one of those like revenge characters, because I think I'm not too big on the comics, but I think Hush has a history with Batman. But where do you think this is going to take DC now?
I really don't know. Like, it could take it in so many different directions, and it all depends on how they go with it and how they make it. I think they will do a phenomenal job with it. They've done a phenomenal job with all the other movies as well, but I really don't know. What do you think?
I think it's good. And I'll tell you why. It's something, like you said, fresh, right? It's something fresh. And it's something that now Matt Reeves can easily expand on and use his creativity to produce something that has only been produced maybe in comics, which obviously has only been produced in comics, or maybe an animated show, and really expand on that. And now he has freedom to do whatever the hell he wants with that character. You know, if a studio comes up to you and says, if Matt Reeves comes up to you and says, hey, look, I wrote this script, but the character has not been done before, you can write whatever you want. You're going to do whatever the hell you want.
So much freedom. So much creative freedom.
Yeah, there's a lot of creative freedom, which I think is also good. So I think it's going to be Hush, maybe Court of Owls. Don't really know. But Matt Reeves, you've been taking way too long. It's been like 5 years since the first Batman. But guys, don't be mad.
Hey, he's just locked in.
How hard is it to write a screenplay?
Oh, it is beyond hard. It's like, you would think, screenplay. Oh, I'm just writing a book. No, you are mistaken, my friend. Everyone who's watching, it is not it. It is difficult. What do you think?
Think a screenplay of more showing than telling. So if Harry Potter is at Hogwarts.
No, Ron, no.
Which, by the way, I'm on the third book of Harry Potter.
I just read the first book.
It's actually better than the movies. But anyways, Harry Potter sees this person. He thinks this. He feels this. That's not what a screenplay is. A screenplay is Batman, tall, dark hair, wears a black suit, walks into interior room, night, blah, 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 sits in a chair, fiddling with his hands, turns around, then Ryan, white, blonde hair, sitting at a podcast.
I used to be blonde and miss my blonde hair.
Interior podcast junkies. You know, you got to explain what people are watching.
It's show, don't tell.
Yeah, narrating. So don't be mad at him. Actually, the fact that he's taking a long time means it's going to be good.
He's just locked in.
It's going to be good. Trust me. You guys try writing a screenplay and see how long. And the amount of drafts. Imagine the amount of drafts that a big budget film like that has to go through before they actually give them $175 million to make a movie.
I mean, for my draft, for my school project, there was like, a 5-page script. I had 12 drafts of that. It took me a month for 5 pages.
Yeah, imagine a 170-page, $200 million budget film. Warner Brothers is not just going to take the first draft. There's going to be hundreds of drafts.
Oh, absolutely.
Changes. So I can understand why something like that takes 5 years. That's also why it's scary when Marvel comes out with something in the matter of a year or two. You know, and then that's why you get things like Captain America, the newest one, or She-Hulk, or something like that. But whatever. Oh,
thank you.
The soundboard. All right, you want to toss it off into the next DC, the last DC topic?
But I mean, in the topic of writing scripts, James Gunn announced the new Superman, Man of Tomorrow. And no, we've seen some pretty interesting stuff, especially a new comic picture that's out of Lex Luthor and Superman together, with Superman leaning on Lex Luthor.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Yep. Also, actually, today, before we got here, James Gunn posted front page of the first draft of the Man of Tomorrow, which I guess he's been writing over the past couple years, because there's no way that you're going to announce a script 3 weeks ago and then already have the first draft written. That's impossible. But real quick, we're going to talk about that first, just because it's so new.
Yeah.
What was the front page? It was a human head, I think, right?
No, it was both of them together.
No. The front page of the script. So the front page of the script.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Oh, well, so the front page of the script was a head showing a brain, which means that our main villain, I don't know anything about this main villain. Maybe Ben knows. Maybe you know. I don't know. But the main villain is going to be Brainiac. It's going to be Brainiac. I heard he's super powerful. It's obvious because he has a severed head showing a brain at the front page of the script. So the main villain is going to be Brainiac. But what is the main thing, like you said, that we saw?
That main thing is with Lex Luthor. Now, no, in the first Superman, you got Lex Luthor. He wants everything for himself. He's like that one self-centered guy. But it's interesting in this new teaser, this new comic teaser that's out, you see Superman leaning on Lex Luthor. Yeah, Lex Luthor he looks kind of pissed in that, but Superman's smiling. And now that can lead us to some theories of maybe they end up working together, especially now that what you just said about this new first page script that just got released with the Brainiac there. Maybe what if it's like a Lex Luthor and Superman team up? Lex Luthor thinks that Superman isn't an alien at the very end. He thinks that he's an actual person, and they end up working together. What do you think?
That's definitely probably where it's going to go. But I think James Gunn is too creative to go that cliche. I think that's a tad bit cliche. I think if they're going to do that, it has to be something like, since Lex Luthor, the character, is such a narcissistic piece of crap where he's only thinking about himself, he has to be the center of attention. Obviously, we saw in Superman, to the point where when Brainiac comes in, either he's going to, just to get out of Belle Reve, the prison, in order to get out and be good again, he's going to have to force himself to be good again. You know what I mean? He sees that Brainiac is now, I guess, the smartest guy, which Lex Luthor is super smart, obviously, and he's going to want to be back on top. But maybe throughout that story, his character arc is going to be finding himself. You know?
Yeah.
Now he's with Superman. Maybe it's going to be one of those things where him and Superman work together, but then Lex Luthor stabs Superman in the back. Now he's working with Brainiac or something crazy like that. You know? But it can't be cliche because we've seen those stories before, right?
Or maybe he's in a position where he's forced to help Superman because maybe Brainiac took something from him as well.
That's kind of, that's along the lines of kind of what I said. And it's more of like, my worry is that it's going to be cliche, bro. There's so many stories that have been like that, you know, to the point where it's like, you would have to really focus on a character's self-centered, you know, arc. But that's most of the DC news that we have.
Yeah.
And very excited. I love James Gunn. I thought James Gunn is an amazing director. I really believe that now what's happening, we'll keep you guys updated on everything that's happening. But I think James Gunn, by the way, The Batman is one of my favorite movies of all time. So along with The Dark Knight, but Batman is the Batman and the Penguin is definitely up there. I love those shows. I'm very excited to see what Matt Reeves has got. But you want to toss us into the next bit of superhero news here?
Yeah, but on the opposite side of the whole superhero universe, we got Marvel and their whole Shazam that's happening right now. Now we have, I just did something on my iPad I should not have done. That's cool. Anyways, so you know how Robert Downey Jr. was announced for Doomsday. What do you think about that?
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's a good idea?
It's a money grab.
Obviously, it's a money grab.
It's a money grab.
Let's think past that. Do you think it's a good idea or do you think it's not a good idea?
Nope.
Why?
Because I saw Oppenheimer and I saw Iron Man in Oppenheimer. I didn't see Robert Downey Jr. I saw Iron Man in Oppenheimer. Now, if I were to see Dr. Doom, I'm going to be like, why is Iron Man there? That makes no sense to me. I feel like he's such a well-known figure in the whole Avengers. He's like the main guy, but now they are just reusing him. And personally, I can't see past the fact that.
So do you think that Marvel is doing this because they lost a lot of their fan base over the past 5 years?
Yeah, and everyone loves Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Robert Downey Jr. is definitely a cash grab and a thing to like get people back into the fact that, oh snap, Thunderbolts only made $300 million, you know, which we'll get into now in a couple minutes here. But I think it's going to be very tough on how, like you said in the last episode, you have to watch this and then watch that and then watch this and then know this detail and know this about the comic and know this to know what's happening in Avengers Doomsday. I think the fact that they didn't make a new character, Doom, is a big in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to explain in that movie, you know how much exhibition or not exhibition, but like, that to explain why Iron Man is now Dr. Doom? You know?
Yeah, it's going to be so much backstory that they're going to need to be able to explain. And knowing Marvel, again, as you see in the first episode, I'm not the biggest fan of Marvel, and I don't know how well they're going to be able to do that.
Yeah, there's so much rumors coming out of that set. Like I heard that set, like they're doing what they did in Iron Man 1, where they barely have a script. There's a lot of things happening. There's altercations going on. They have their own workers. By the way, all these people sign NDAs and contracts to not post, or if they're going to post something about it, they have to get approval. They're just posting whatever they want. You know, it sounds a little chaotic. And I hope that just because it's chaotic, that it's not a bad movie. Because the last thing I heard that came out of that set, which they're filming now, which they've been filming now, I think, for a month, which that movie's probably going to take another 2 months to make. It's such a big movie with so many people. It's just all over the place. They don't even have too much of a script from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes over the box office as well. Will it be a hit like Endgame was, making $1 billion?
It's going to. Because it has the word Avengers on it and Robert Downey Jr.
Exactly.
And a bunch of other people. Freaking Reed Richards, freaking Pedro Pascal, you know, Channing Tatum was playing Gambit, you know, all these other, they're bringing back the fan base a little bit, but it's going to automatically make $1 billion. But that also leads us into our next thing. Why did you notice Marvel is not doing so hot in the box office?
With Fantastic Four making roughly around $500 million.
Which is better than they did with Fantastic Four. But what you guys got to realize is that when a movie costs $250, I wish.
Oh my God, I can make like 80 movies a week.
Like 80 movies.
What?
What are you talking about? But if a movie's $250 million and you make $500 million, that's not what you're looking for. With a movie like Fantastic Four, they probably wanted to make 800, 700, 800 million.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been good. But then you got something like Thunderbolts that only made $350 million. That's horrible. That's horrible. And you know what's crazy? I thought Thunderbolts was good, but I didn't think it was amazing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I went into it with my Marvel expectations. I mean, it was funny. Like, I had a good time watching it, but I wasn't like, that was amazing. Like, I watched it once. I watched it in the theaters. It was good. Probably won't watch it again.
$350 million gross. That's horrible.
Yeah, and the typical rule of thumb for box office is that you take your budget and you kind of do like an overtime, like the time and a half, but you do budget and a half. And that's how you find your profit of the film. Now, I'm not too sure how much the budget of the Thunderbolts was.
It had to be at least 180 million.
180 million. So you take 180 million plus 90 million. What is that? I can't do math. 260, 70?
Well, you also got to add the other 100 million for marketing.
Exactly.
You know,
so
they made nothing.
At that point, you're making nothing.
They made jack. They made $50 million, maybe 70 on like
nothing.
That's that compared to what, like I said, what DC's doing. Superman almost made $700 million. That shows you, like, Marvel. You guys, okay? Don't get me wrong. Fantastic Four was amazing. I loved the Fantastic Four. I thought it was a great first movie coming into the new universe or whatever the hell that they're doing. God only knows. I don't even know if this is a new universe or not. But DC, I think it's got it going. I think they got it going. Almost $700 million on Superman, and they spent a lot of money. I think total they spent $350 million on the movie because the marketing was over $100 million. The movie itself was $250. They made a lot of money. They made money on that movie.
I mean, and even for these new movies, they're going to need to be spending more money because of the recent news that just came up with Tom Holland getting a concussion on Spider-Man. Now they're paying for all the medical bills for Tom Holland as well. What do you think about that? I think one string wasn't tied properly.
Hey, look, guys, look. Movie sets can be dangerous. I'm not going to lie. Movie sets can be dangerous. And with what they were showing on the sets for Tom Holland, he was on top of tanks because, I think the Punisher, the Hulk is going to be out. Who knows what the hell the story is going to be about. But I don't even know how they're going to explain all that. But he is on top of tanks with strings. Something probably happened where he slipped. Maybe he slipped and hit his head on the side of the tank or something. But these actors do put themselves in situations, as long as they want to, they do put themselves in dangerous situations. So he will be better, but maybe that will delay filming a lot, actually. That is actually a pretty crappy hit for that director, because they're going to have to now take at least a couple weeks for Tom Holland to come back, not on concussion protocol, which I've had a couple concussions before. Well, not a couple. I've had maybe one, but you got to take a little bit to,
Yeah, that actually came through yesterday, I'm pretty sure. And I saw it through IMDb, and they said, I wonder if he's I know there obviously has to be a break between him doing all those crazy stunts, because he does all those stunts, and the production schedule. I wonder if they're going to be delaying the movie at all because of that.
Every day costs money.
Yep.
Every day costs money on the set, and they just lost a lot of money not being able to film. But he'll be fine. He's Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. But I'm gonna ask you a question.
What's up?
What are some of your most anticipated movies for the rest of the year?
One that immediately comes to mind is Avatar, because Avatar has always been there for me. Has always been my number one. The little Na'vi little dagger here.
The park.
Yeah. Oh, I think it actually lights up, actually. Oh, it
does light up.
It still kind of works. It still works.
Bro, we've had that for like...
Wow. You actually got that for me, like, what, 7 years ago?
No, that was like in 2021. I think when I got it.
I don't remember what happened yesterday.
Avatar is one of them. For me, it was definitely Avatar. What are some of your others? You just got to name a couple.
Definitely Wicked.
Wicked. I love Wicked.
I saw that movie 5 times in theaters. Yeah, of course, when it came up after 5 times, I was very tired of it. But I gave it a couple months break, and now I love it again.
Yeah.
But those are my top 2.
Wicked. I love Wicked. Those are your top 2, but I got 3. Tron coming up next month. There's a bunch. There's the Black Phone 2, Tron. I'm very, very annoyed that Mortal Kombat got pushed to next year. I was very excited to see Mortal Kombat next month, but they were like, "Oh, there's too many movies coming out in October." Just bull crap. But whatever. You know what that is? That they didn't like the movie, so they want to re-edit it.
That's like Avatar pushing back the trailer 2 months before the movie comes out because there's too many trailers coming out. Okay, the movie coming out in 2 months.
Guys, just so you know, that's a load of crap. What happened was that they sat there and went, I don't like it. We got to re-edit something.
Yep.
We got to redo something. But anyways, definitely Avatar and Wicked are my favorite for my anticipated movie, especially Avatar.
And speaking of Avatar, there's a lot of stuff coming out now with rumors, with the trailer just out now.
Go ahead.
We got a brand new biome, region, however you call it. If you play Minecraft, the biome for you.
Ash Clan.
It's the volcanic region featuring the new clan called the Ash Clan. Now, from what we see so far, the Ash Clan, it's not your typical rainbows and sunshine clan. Apparently, they're going to be focusing a lot on the darkness side of stuff.
Oh my god! Did you watch the trailer, right?
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
I did a review on my channel about the trailer. When that Ash girl goes, she goes, "You have no your goddess has no dominion here." I was like, "Oh crap!" I was like, "That's crazy."
Yeah, and also one other really cool thing. Now, yeah, we've followed throughout the first 2 movies the story of Jake Sully and now his family with Neytiri as well. But from what I've heard of rumors, we're going to be focusing a lot on Neytiri.
I hope so.
We're going to be focusing a lot on her backstory, and I heard that it's not too bright. It's kind of dark, especially now that she just lost her son, Neteyam.
Neteyam, yeah. Because they put her in the back burner last movie. They focused on Loak. You know, they focused a lot on the kids, which I'm pretty sure Loak is going to become the new main protagonist. Like Jake Sully was the first one, now it's Loak. Now you're just focus more on Loak. But I hope they do focus more on Neytiri because I want to see what that psychologically does to her. Losing her son, now she has to change. Now Quaritch is back because that spider.
Yeah, speaking of protagonists, we can go to antagonists now. What do you think about what's going to happen with Quaritch?
Spider. That kid's Spider.
I can't stand him.
Spider. He saves Quaritch, and now we got Quaritch.
He's not even not.
It's also kind of a little cliche.
Oh, it's very cliche.
On how they brought Quaritch back. But anyways, they need Quaritch for the 3rd movie. But I still love James Cameron. But anyway.
They don't need him past the 1st movie. I can't stand him.
Yeah. But he's obviously what we saw in the trailer, in which it makes sense. He's going to go to the Ash Clan. He's probably going to use the Ash Clan to his advantage to go find Jake Sully. Someone else is going to die. Maybe Jake Sully dies in the movie.
If Jake dies, I'm not watching any more Avatars.
How are you gonna have any more Avatar movies without Jake Sully?
Exactly.
And that's why I said that maybe Loak is not going to be the new focus. You know.
And if I hear you're not in Kansas anymore, you're in Pandora. Oh, why so blue?
Exactly.
No more. I love you, James Cameron, but no more corny jokes, please.
Hey, look, we all know that the writing was okay, but we also. Which is now starting to become a norm with these big directors and these big movies. You know, Oppenheimer was 3 hours. Avatar: Way of Water was 3 hours. Now this one, Avatar: Fire and Ash, is going to be an extra 30 minutes long.
Yeah, so actually
3.5 hours of Avatar.
So from, again, what we heard as well, that it's going to be the same runtime as The Way of Water, 3 hours and 12 minutes, I think excluding credits. That's still 30 minutes longer than the first Avatar, which is insane. Almost 3.5 hour movie.
That's why pacing in a story is so important, because you got to really keep people's, which they did in Avatar: The Way of Water. They really did with the they really did. I love that movie. The movie's absolutely incredible.
Oh, I love it.
The movie was incredible.
Visuals as well.
Yeah,
the water.
It's insane. They did great pacing with that movie. But the thing is that, you know, you really have to make sure that you pace this correctly, because 3 hours is a long time to watch a movie.
Start twiddling your thumbs, hey, I'm waiting for the next thing to happen.
Yeah, and you got to be careful because you might lose the audience, right? Exactly. You might lose the audience, you might lose their attention if you don't pace it correctly, you know? But I do believe James Cameron knows what he's doing, because he did it with the last movie, which I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing. 3 of his films are in the top 10 box office. Titanic, Avatar, over almost $3 billion. Avatar: Way of Water, I'm pretty sure it's almost at $2 billion.
Yeah, exactly. So the re-release of the first movie, because they had a re-release before The Way of Water came out, and after the re-release, it grossed $2.923 billion. Even the second movie made over $2.3 billion. Now, what do you think this movie's going to make?
Cash grabs. I don't think this movie, you can tell there's a progressive decline, which is going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Unless you're like The Godfather, where The Godfather 2 was better than the first Godfather, then I could see maybe why Avatar: Way of Water would have made $3 billion instead of, 2.9. But it's going to be probably, I think it's going to do 1.8 billion, just a little under 1.8, 1.9.
Still insane.
It's still insane. They're money grabs. Obviously, Disney loves James Cameron. They probably kiss his feet, because they make no more money anymore. $250 million Snow White movie only made $70 million worldwide. That's horrible. But anyway,
sorry, it's in my throat.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't think it's gonna make $2 billion. Maybe it might crack $2 billion, just like at $2 billion. But I think it's going to be under like 1.8, 1.9. But these movies are automatic cash grabs. Everybody knows Avatar. People go to really watch. They could see the look. No one's really, it's stuff like that. And it's going to be an easy 1.8.
Yeah, and I mean, also with this new upcoming technology, this new motion capture that they have underwater for the last movie. So the last movie actually had a budget of estimated $350 million, but it ended up being $460 million at the very end. Granted, they did have COVID during it, so COVID was a big
they got to reschedule.
A big precaution and big rescheduling. Every day costs money for film, but this film has a budget of $250 million, which is around $100 million less than last movie. Do you think it's going to go up? Do you think it's going to stay the same?
I think it's going to stay. I mean, the movie's already done. I think if he was smart about it, he would have filmed the rest of the movies that he wanted to film at the same shoot dates, just so he could save money there. And the technology is growing, so it's going to get cheaper, right? Technology is going to keep growing, so it's going to get cheaper. And he didn't use AI for this movie, did he?
No, I think they're actually going to be having a thing at the very beginning, at the very end of the movie, one of those two, where they basically say this film was not made using AI. Because that's another thing too. That's scary that you have all these crazy studios now using AI and you don't know what's going to be real, what's going to be fake. I just saw cats jumping on a trampoline the other day. I thought it was real until I opened the comments. AI. It pissed me off.
Hey, guys, it's a real thing. Like I say, every movie that I've seen, I say toward the middle, like in the summertime, at the end credits, if you watch, they will say, this film, you're not allowed, by the Motion Picture Association, you are not allowed to use this film to train AI.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's insane because now with AI, you gotta. It's interesting because I know people, even though it's probably gonna say either at the beginning of the movie or at the end of the movie, we did not use AI to make this movie. People are gonna be like, "Oh, that looks too real. That looks like AI. That's AI."
Mm-hmm.
Which in reality, I don't think AI is that advanced to do some motion capture like that, like James Cameron is doing, because he literally invented an entire Sony camera just to film Avatar.
Well, I wouldn't put it past James Cameron if he also invented AI as well. If he invented some type of, if either he invented the AI or some type of crazy AI to make Avatar and Pandora.
He invented everything, did he?
Yeah, but I mean, that could easily lead us into our next hot take of what do you think is better, practical or special effects?
Oh my God, practical is so much better. Please, guys, if any filmmakers out there, what's a lot more fun? Standing in front of a blue screen, a warehouse full of blue screens, or actually standing on a set, on a location, or in a soundstage that was actually built with some effort into it? What was a lot more fun to actually be in? In my opinion, I think it's a lot more fun to sit there and be in a world that you actually believe in and can see, and the audience feels that too. The audience also sits there and believes the world that you build, not just a CGI world. Marvel that can't get their lighting correct on their blue screens, But anyway.
Blue screens, they only use green screens here.
Ew, who uses green screens? Like, you use green screens to mask things out. But anyways, Wicked is one of those that uses half CGI, but a lot of practical effects. Did you guys know that the train in Wicked is real? That is not CGI. That is an actual train that they built. The Emerald City is real. The beginning of the movie is real. The animatronic is real. The animatronic where Oz is talking is real.
Yeah, I mean, even in some films that rely solely on CGI, like Avatar, for example, amazing film because it's believable. But when you also have a practical set like Wicked, when you can just tell, like they can just touch the emerald wall and go, wow.
Yeah.
It's just a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have a couple things to talk about for Wicked, actually, because it's coming out in December.
Right? I have been changed for good. Wicked for good. It used to be Wicked 2, but now it's called For Good, which I didn't mind it.
You should star in Wicked. You've been singing on podcast.
Can I be Elphaba?
Oh, I think you could.
I'll be all hell no. I wouldn't be Elphaba. But yeah.
It'd be Alphabet.
Alphabet is crazy. But you were saying, sorry.
Yeah, no, but we have a lot of things to talk about with the new upcoming Wicked. Now Elphaba
Disclaimer: we have not seen the broadcast.
Yes, that's
broadcast show, the Broadway show. We have not seen the Broadway show.
Get him off this set. Who is this guy?
We have not seen the Broadway show. So we are watching this solely movie based. So no, I don't know what Bach does. I just have an idea. No, I don't know what happens to Elphaba. No, I don't know what the songs are. And no, I don't know what happens to everybody else. But I've seen Wizard of Oz.
Wow, that was a lot.
But I've seen Wizard of Oz. All right, go on. Sorry.
No, you're all good. So now we know that Elphaba has the Grimoire. What do you think she's going to do with it? Do you think she's going to be like a good person with it? Do you think now she's going to be like, oh, I have all this power now?
I think she's going to do what was shown in the trailers, which is go after the Wizard of Oz. And I think it's going to be one of those things where she's going to go after, but she's going to be so blinded by like her rage, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to be like, uh-oh, you know, I better not watch myself become the villain, you know, kind of thing. It's going to be one of those things, you know?
Yeah, where she's like trying to find her true self, and
she's going to be like, oh my God, I'm doing too much, you know, and I'm turning bad, which is a good arc. It's a good arc. They did it with Harvey Dent and Batman, you know, which they made him a bad guy, but, you know, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain kind of story, you know what I mean? But the characters from Wizard of Oz, do you think the characters from Wizard of Oz will show up, or will they be a part of the plot line?
Oh, yes.
And what kind of foreshadowing have we seen with that?
I mean, even at the very beginning of the first movie, you know, when your phone just died. Okay, that's cool. Freaking explosion.
Where was my phone?
I don't know. This phone's like on the floor, cracked.
I did not know where my
shambles,
phone was,
rusty, dusty. Anyways, we saw in the very beginning of the first movie where it shows the hat and and then we see Wizard of Oz and Elphaba on the horse. I think it's Elphaba. That's my foreshadowing, is that it's going to be Elphaba, because there's no way that the Wicked Witch of the West is dead.
Well, you see the foreshadowing. They start off with a dolly shot of the hat, right? They start off with a dolly shot of the hat. Then they show the horse, you know, they show the hat, and they show the horse, you know. Mm-hmm. It's obvious that Elphaba's going to...
Yeah.
And they show it just with the cinematography in general.
And then after that, you see, you know, Dorothy and then all of them together. But then even in the trailer, you see them again. Now, I'm really curious on how they're going to implement this. Again, we haven't seen any of the musicals, so we don't know what's going to happen, but...
Yeah, but the foreshadowing is easy, bro.
Oh, yeah. They are going to be a part of the plot.
What does Bach do when he first appears on screen?
You got me stumped. I know brain fart.
He leans, people. He stands there and goes, I'm Bach. Who does that in The Wizard of Oz?
Tin Man.
There you go.
There we go.
Tin Man.
There we go.
Oh, he's going to be the Tin Man. I don't have to watch the Broadway show to know he's going to be the Tin Man. And I know that Elphaba's sister, the Wicked Witch of the West, she's going to be the Wicked Witch of the East with the shoes that Dorothy. It's obvious, you know. The Cowardly Lion is obvious because Prince Fiero and Elphaba saved him. He was scared. That's going to be the Cowardly Lion.
Yeah, and the bicycle.
But who's going to be Scarecrow? Or the Scarecrow. Yeah.
My mind's stumped right now.
There's only one more person that could be Scarecrow, which is Prince Fiero.
Yeah, that would. I'm like, wow. My mind just went through every single character and went.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be Prince Fiero, right? I don't know for sure.
I think so. I mean, that's only the main character that's left.
But. Yeah, but because he's falling in love with Elphaba, but then there's probably going to be some relationship thing that goes on in there, blah blah blah. But I think he's going to be the Scarecrow. But I think we have one more topic to talk about with Wicked, right?
Yeah, I mean, now we have Glinda, and Elphaba now going their own way. Like, I wonder if they're going to go back together about being best friends, or if they're going to be like separated for good now, because now she's the Wicked Witch of the West.
Well, remember, there's a triangle, there's a love triangle happening with Fiero and Elphaba and Glinda, right? I think what's going to happen is that Glinda's going to be pissed that Fiero is in love with Elphaba, and then that's where you get the movie Wizard of Oz, right? Where, you know, the Wicked Witch of the West, she's bad, and then, well, we know that that Glinda wants to be famed and successful, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that she's going to take that. I think personally, and you can tell me what you think, but I think she's going to take that personally over Elphaba. I think she's going to betray Elphaba.
Yeah, and then even with Lady Marble.
Madam Marble?
Yeah.
Marble? I think it's Marble.
Marble?
Yeah.
One of those two.
I think it's Marble.
I mean, she's now with them, and no, she has power. She's in charge of oh my God, what's the name? What's the name of the school?
Shiz,
yeah.
Yeah.
She's in charge of the school, so she has all that power. She can control weather. She's probably gonna bribe Glinda with like, hey, if you help me get Elphaba back, you can have everything you want. I can make you famous. And, Glinda is famous hungry.
She is. You can tell in the first movie,
Oh.
Yeah, and she might help Elphaba. She probably is the one that helped Elphaba escape. If she's going to escape after she goes, I'm melting. If that even happens, maybe she gets all messed up. Maybe she half melts,
Yeah.
Maybe she half melts. But she probably is either going to help Elphaba, but still put on the persona that she is, the good witch. Because we do see at the beginning of the movie that she tells everybody the Wicked Witch of the West is dead, right? So she's still going to play that persona, maybe to protect Elphaba. Maybe there's going to be that character arc where she's trying to protect her friend, right?
Yeah. I mean, voice crack, by the way.
Sir.
You should start me and sing it right now. Ah! Anyways, yeah, I mean, like, I like the stories that don't, this is going to sound really like, you're a bad person. I don't like all like it's a happy ending. Like, I like the twist at the very end.
I agree.
But I feel like this movie, it should be a happy ending.
What does our well-renowned screenplay teacher say?
Isn't it like the worse for the character, the better the plot?
Yeah, what's worse for your character is better for your story, right?
Yeah.
The higher the stakes, the more people are going to be interested. Now, obviously, not every story has to be all death and destruction and,
It could be sunshines and rainbows.
It can be. Depends on the story.
Yeah.
It all depends on the story. But I'm very excited for Wicked for Good. I love the first Wicked. That was my best movie of the year last year. I didn't get to see every movie, of course, but that was my best movie of the year last year. I loved Wicked. I think I saw it like 10 times. I saw it 4 times with you.
Yeah.
We actually went with shout out to Jet. We actually watched it at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
we didn't get back to like 3 in the morning.
Freaking Cinemark is like hosting at 1 a.m. We're like the only ones in the theater, so it's our 5th time watching it. So we can be complete idiots in the theater,
exactly,
running around screaming, defying gravity. But
they also have the little thing at Universal, which was really cool. They showed you all the set pieces and whatnot. But now we're getting to the end of the podcast here, guys. We're getting into at least 3 more things real quick about some little fun things that we're going to do. Even with guests on the show, we're going to do little fun things. The first thing is a hot take. What is better? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, or Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness?
See, I love both films. I love the Doctor Strange film. Hey, listen to me right now. I love it because Marvel actually showed some blood. They didn't show a little scratch here.
Because it was Sam Raimi.
They actually showed a bit. The only thing I didn't like is that you had to watch Scarlet Witch to understand what the hell was happening.
Watch WandaVision.
And I've never seen that, so I don't know what the hell was happening. So I'm going to go with Everything Everywhere All at Once, also because I love A24. Shout out to A24. And I feel like that story was just insane. It took me a little bit to figure out what was happening, but once I got it, wow. What do you think? Everything
Everywhere All at Once is far superior than freaking Doctor Strange Multiverse. Look, a lot of people hate on Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. I can understand why people might think it's a little too much, right? But I liked it because Sam Raimi, he's a great director. I think he did Gladiator. He did all sorts of crazy movies that are well renowned. But excuse me, he brought a horror aspect of Marvel, which I enjoyed. Like when Black Bolt blew his own brains out inside of it was nasty. But definitely Everything Everywhere All at Once is more superior because it's a multiverse movie that has its own creative, unique screenplay to it.
Yeah.
Right? It's its own idea. And the way they did it with the editing was one of the most best edited movies I've seen in a long time. Crazy editing, crazy special effects, great actors, just a different take, and that's why I loved it.
And also, we want to know what you guys think as well. Drop a comment below and let us know what your hot take is. If you like Doctor Strange or like Everything Everywhere All at Once or any other movies that involve the multiverse, let us know what you guys think.
Mm-hmm. I don't care what you guys think. No, I do.
Oh, that's crazy.
I think Everything All at Once is more superior, but we'll see. You want to get into the fun fact for today?
Yeah. It also involves with sound. Now, we have a cool fun fact for you guys that 60 to 90% of all movies are made with Foley sound. Now, Foley sound is pretty much all sound that you see. Sorry, you can't see sound. Maybe some can, but it's all sound that you hear, but that weren't captured in the actual film.
Yeah, so with Foley sound, there's 2 different kinds of things. You get ADR, which is audio dialogue replacement, where if the lav mics are wrong or they get bad audio or the boom mic couldn't get good audio, they bring the actor back into Paramount Studios or whatever the hell the studio is and re-record that audio and replace it into the film. Or if I'm walking or punching him across the face, right, or kicking him in the balls or something, they have to go in and create They have to go into a studio with a Foley sound set where they have piles of garbage and sand all over the floor to recreate those sounds and implement them in sound design. It's a whole career in sound design to implement those sound effects in the movie. So most of the movie you're watching is all created sound. None of the sounds in the movie are from the actual set because the set just doesn't have good sound.
Yeah, and also a cool fact as well that Darth Vader was actually used a scuba tank.
Yep.
And
They put the mic next to the scuba diver, and you can hear him going, and that's where they got the sound for Darth Vader.
Well, right now we're finishing up the podcast. Now we do have one movie recommendation for both of you guys.
Both of us.
Both of us, for all of you guys here.
Mm-hmm.
What's yours?
I recently watched a movie called Warfare. It's a movie, it's a true story, which is documentary style about how these Navy SEALs got ambushed in Iraq, and the filmmakers actually went to Iraq and filmed at that exact same house. They invited the Navy SEALs that survived to recreate the memories and literally recreate the scene. The SEALs were there recreating the scenes with them, and they had the actors play out those scenes. Very brutal movie. I don't suggest you guys watch it if you guys are queasy or get very emotional or whatnot, because it's a very real movie. It has no music. It's very in the action. I suggest you guys watch it. Find it on HBO Max if you have HBO Max. It's an A24 movie that came out this year. Your turn.
Yeah, and mine, I guess, going on for your war, 1917. 1917.
Great movie.
I love it because it follows a story from point A to point B, but the full thing. There's no cuts where I'm now outside, I'm now inside of a building. No, it acts like one long shot without any edits. And I feel like that's so clever how they made it.
Really cool. And you don't see a lot of World War I movies. You don't see a lot of World War I movies. And there you go. Let us know you guys' thoughts on that. And that's the end of the episode 2.
Yes, sir.
We did it.
Now,
You can find me on TikTok at the filmmaker Daniel, whatnot. Do movie reviews and follow us on Instagram and whatnot. Where can they find you?
Ryan Filmworks on Instagram, TikTok. I don't post anymore, but you can find me there. But we do post every Wednesday. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube.
Yeah, we'll try to.
Yeah,
we'll try to.
Yeah,
and
if not, sorry, but
and that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Y'all take care. Catch you on the next one.